Hi, we're Wiser Systems. I'm Seth Haller, CEO, and we have
Logan Maxwell, wearer of many hats.
And a primary use case of the Wiser RTLS system is normally to track work in process, but we have a secondary use case, almost as popular. And what is that?
Well, it's actually tracking the equipment or items used to process that whip through the different stages. So anything that can be used on and off the line to keep the whip moving, the work orders moving through each stage.
Okay, well, let's paint a picture here. Let's think automotive assembly line. So a vehicle stops at each station and some sort of process has to happen to that vehicle.
Right.
And it can't happen if they can't find the equipment to pull it on.
Yeah, and a lot of times we'll be at very specific points in a line where they have a kind of calibration rig or some sort of electronic sensor array that the car needs to get plugged into to pass. And so those items will be shuffled around, and if they're lost or misplaced, they have to find the right one that's been calibrated to do what it needs to do, and it can take time.
So these pieces of equipment, tooling, fixtures, dies, anything else there?
Yeah, I mean, calibrated gauges a lot of times.
They move around from station to station, and oftentimes you don't know where they are. So if you need them to, stage at a station so that your process goes smoothly, that's one use case. Is that right?
Yeah. So gauges are pretty frequent, a popular choice to track. You usually have a list of, once a week or every 2 weeks of gauges you need to run around and calibrate because they have to be calibrated to be kept in spec of what you're creating, what you're making. If you're watching this, you're probably familiar with that. And so that tends to be pretty popular. They'll actually track not the gauge itself. Well, sometimes, a lot of times it will be on the case. In addition to that is electronic test equipment. So instead of gauging how much you've done the sheet metal, you're actually gauging the output of what electronics you've created. And so this is going to be something that is measuring your output or your hertz or your voltage or whatever, and essentially as long as it passes, it moves. If it doesn't pass, it stays. And so they need to be kept up to spec as well,
right.
And you need to make sure you know where they are.
And normally, where would you put a tag on something like this?
It's a lot easier to hide a tag on something like this. It actually can shoot through plastic, so you could put it in the battery case in the back, or really anywhere there's kind of a cutout in the test equipment itself. Now the tags do have a way to zip tie as well, but we find that's more popular in that particular case. So, fixtures, jigs, assemblies, cases, carts, crates, bins, anything that's carrying whip that is specific to that whip and you need to find, right? A lot of times they're called fixtures or jigs. They're specific to the whip. That's important. Gauges, equipment, anything test equipment related that's measuring or analyzing and needs to be calibrated. Really anything that keeps that whip moving is by far and away probably the second most tracked item that we see.
So any last comments here?
Well, if you're seeing this on the website, keep browsing. We do have case studies. Also, it's very easy for us just to get on, demonstrate the system for you live here in the offices over screen share, and we'll kind of show you what we mean by that. If you are here for test equipment, jigs, fixtures, I do think we have some specific YouTube videos about that as well, so check that out. But yeah, send in a form. It's actually pretty simple for us to get a cost estimate to you pretty quickly, and so you can see if this makes sense for what you're trying to track.
If inquiries, questions, anything, just reach out, contact us through a forum, email, phone call. Happy to engage and discuss further. Thank you, Logan. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, take care.
Take care now.